Well, we're back for session 46 of Strange Times Ahead across the Atlantic, session 19, which I think makes it into our longest. Yeah, what did Crimson Letters end at? I didn't number it, but it was definitely less than 19. I think we had like 10 sessions in Crimson Letters, maybe 12. So this is certainly taking a while. To give you guys a recap of where you were at. You had been investigating some crew members who were suspicious. There was a cook in steerage named Dilip Kaplan, who Brady had spoken with. Steward named Dolores Talbot, who Draper had spotted in the hallway and sent to drop off some drugs and water for Mr. Watts. A cook in first class, Mark Markopoulos, who had been spoken to by Brady and was kind of suspicious and short with you, rather curt. And there was a steward named Mehmed Demir, who I believe you have not yet tracked down. While you were regrouping before the events of the evening, an insane man burst out into the hall and made a run for it. Watts ran him down and tackled him. Wright managed to get a crewman to come and help. You managed to pull the guy up and end up having to take him downstairs. Basically, he is obsessed with getting off of the ship, believes that something is coming for them, and he must get off the ship at all due cost. He is not the only person who is being afflicted by such a belief, and there is essentially a sort of makeshift jail made out of one of the steerage class rooms with a handful of people who are similarly afflicted. The man's room is completely overturned. Draper finds the man's diary. Had a picture of a deep one in it that was a fully transformed one, crudely drawn. He had descended into madness over the last few days. You make a copy of the drawing, but put the diary back. Head to dinner. Mr. Wright convincing Miss Green, to give him an interview to keep her busy for the evening. Nora returns with Flinders. Group is dividing up to Flinders Baker's Watts Brady go to meet with Mrs. Hastings and Mr. Cox in the hold to cast a spell. Mr. Wright is keeping Miss Green busy in the dining lounge. Mr. Draper is watching the box and rigging up alarm wires, moving the box into the room of the into the tossed room of the man who had made a scene. The group summons the portal successfully, despite some failed power rolls that causes some intensity and issues. Wright is brought down to the hold to deal with people who are trying to force their way in by the bursar. Draper hears the attack on the room down the way, and he manages to escape with the box to the dining hall as the hybrid fishmen. Oh, I did not finish writing that note. As the hybrid fishmen burst into the first of the rooms. He's at the last of the rooms. The deep ones show up in the portal and initially converse. They demand their artifact back. They are quite angry and refuse to make any promises. They start to push their way through, and there are some sanity fails for Watts and Baker during the experience of this ordeal, but not enough to send you to insanity. I should probably make a note of your total sanity from the start of the day, because obviously if you lose 1/5 of your sanity, you will go indefinitely insane. Wright tries to convince the crowd to disperse, does not work so well. Manages to tackle one of the crowd and put them in handcuffs. Mr. Draper around this time is heading down to the hold after talking with Miss Green. Meets up with Mr. Wright carrying the box, and they head back initially to the midship cargo hold. Decide to head up to the bridge or somewhere upwards in the ship with the artifact to try and hide it somewhere. The deep ones come out of the portal and fight the investigators. Flinders gets partially sucked into the portal and then stabbed with a trident before being bitch slapped, and basically he is on the verge of death. Notably, in mechanics terms, he took a major wound where he was stabbed with a trident. Pokey. And then while he was holding on to consciousness, he was then punched by one of the deep ones, bringing him down to 0 health, but it was not enough to kill him outright. At this point in time, you guys have to get to him within 1 round and administer first aid, something that 2 of you can do to increase your chances to save him. And if you are able to successfully do first aid, he will be back at 1 health point, at which every hour he will have to make a constitution saving throw, or he will be back to the verge of death. If he is on the verge of death, he has to make a con save every single, or a con roll every single round, or die. So it's pretty serious business. To get him properly stabilized, he needs to be administered medical treatment with a medicine roll. This takes an hour to do to properly treat his wounds and stabilize him permanently. And if you do not administer medicine in the next day, then the difficulty increases 1 level. Goes from normal to hard. I think, or it's either goes to normal to hard, or you take a penalty die, one or the other. Either way, it gets more difficult. I'd have to look that up. Hopefully, you guys get him to see a doctor before this becomes a problem.
Well, if we fail our medical roll, we're just going to assume he's dead.
He got stabbed real bad. That's a shame.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I don't know if Emily said that on mic. Emily has good first aid, or Nora has good first
Yeah,
aid.
Nora is really good at first aid, but has no medicine skill. So stabilize and get him to a doctor, I guess.
Yeah, my medicine's at 100. Just it's at 1.
That'd be
Jesus,
amazing.
Really? I'll be like poking the hole of the trident made.
Look how it fits.
Yeah.
It's a trident of healing, right?
So with the fast gun work, particularly Nora getting an extreme success, you guys blast down these 2 deep ones before any more can come through. You are able to burst through the shield that is around Mrs. Hastings, that is forcing her to hold her position and continue chanting to keep the thing open, despite her not having any will in that regard. With some quick handwork, you are able to pull the book from her grasp, breaking the effect of the spell, closing the portal, and are now left in the room with a prostrate Flinders, who is in need of your help. I believe Draper and Wright are still right outside the room, have not moved upstairs yet, correct?
No, we had headed to the captain's quarters.
Okay, so you were on your way up already.
Yeah.
So you're no longer on this map.
Yeah, we saw the crowd and we're like, not a whole lot we can do to deal with that.
Yeah, but I suppose the bursar is probably still down here, kind of being like, guys, please stop. All right, I'm going to do some rules to see how the crowd is faring against the cordon of people here in the last few moments. And they are being held back quite successfully at the moment in that roughly contested roll. So we will drop over to Miss Baker and team, who have just closed the portal, and let us start some music. So Miss Baker and Mr. Watts and Mr. Brady, Mrs. Hastings has collapsed unconscious into your arms, Watts and Brady. Mr. Cox is cowering in the corner, and Flinders is mortally wounded upon the floor.
All right, I'm gonna step over the corpse of this deep one that I just annihilated, and casually put my gun away, and go over here to check on Flinders and see if I can do anything to keep him from dying.
Well, give a first aid roll.
Mine's 15. I don't know if Benjamin's is better, but I'd like to just do whatever Nora tells me to do.
I can definitely do first aid. Mine's 58.
Okay, you can help. I'm going to take the book that's lying on the floor.
All right.
So, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and also try and assess what's going on with Miss Hastings and try and do a little bit of the first aid, try and get her see if I can get her back to consciousness.
All right. Well, if you hustle on over there, the two of you can both roll first aid. Well, the two of you together, that's regardless of success. You pull him into a sitting position, inspecting the wounds. Clearly, he has had a terrible stab into his chest cavity. It seems like while it has missed his vital organs, he is pretty seriously wounded and remains unconscious. Working quickly together, you create a makeshift bandage out of your clothes, ripping some off, and tie it around his chest, sealing the wound for the time being. He raises back to 1 hit point, and remains unconscious.
Nora's going to glance over at Mr. Watts and Ms. Hastings and see that he's like taken the book away and seems to have things under control over there. And she is just gonna like scoop up Flinders. Like, does anyone know which way to the doctor, surgeon, nurse, whoever?
The infirmary.
Point the way.
Well, we're going to wake this one up. I've taken the book, hopefully. You'll allow that to happen. I'll give Mrs. Hastings a few taps around the face, like open palm. See if I can
Is that going to wake her up? I will make her do a con roll to see whether she wakes up. She begins to stir. She's only just coming around and seems very groggy, saying like, "What? Who? Where am I?"
Just scoop her up. Let's go. Your assistant here is bleeding all over my shirt.
Is he still alive?
For the time being, this is why I am trying to be urgent.
All right, I'll take the... Cox, come here and deal with your mistress person. I don't know what the right word is. Your...
Give him an intimidate or a fast talk.
Fast talk would be where? Sorry, it's been so long because I don't...
Can Nora's sheer, like, aggressive urgency assist with this?
I mean, I guess you could jump in and push the roll, and roll something to try and convince him. He remains cowering in the corner, given what he just experienced.
All right. Nora will like turn in his direction and say, "For God's sakes, man, pull yourself together. Your lady needs you, and we don't have time for this."
All right. Give me an intimidate roll.
Push, roll, push, roll, push, roll.
Her intimidate's not that good, but
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Roll two. That was a good roll too.
Oh jeez.
I'll
you spend a lot of luck, but it's probably not worth it.
I'm kind of strong, so it doesn't matter. I can carry the 2 tridents and her. Well, carry her. I mean, like, as long as she's slumped over her shoulder, I can assist her walking.
Well, if you use like one arm of hers over like one of your shoulders, I could take the other arm.
For him, yeah.
That is an excellent one. Okay. Cox screams out and says, "You're all mad! What have you done here?" And he bolts for the door.
All right, this is gonna be fun.
I just rolled a flee in terror.
Amazing. Nora will just roll her eyes and glance at Watts and be like, "Deal with it!" and start striding towards the door, carrying Flinders as carefully as possible.
Just let him go. He's useless.
As Cox wrenches the door open, you hear a cacophony coming from the hall that was merely like a muted hubbub before through the thick metal. It seems like there is some sort of disturbance in the hall.
Is that the only way we can go out?
That is the only way to go out.
Before we leave, is there any way any one of these crates in this room are like? I'm assuming that, given the illustration of the map, like, is there any crates in this room that we might be able to put these bodies in? The fish people.
Maybe. I mean, the crates wouldn't be filled with stuff, but there might be some crates that are not fully filled with stuff.
Yeah, while he's
We'll
looking,
take some-
I'm gonna poke my head out into the hallway to see what's going on.
Yeah, you'd have to look around to find a crate that does not have stuff in it, which might not be an easy thing to do. Basically, it'd probably be like a luck roll. Heck, probably a hard luck roll for a body-sized box that has a body-sized space in it. I mean, I guess you could dump stuff out of a box.
And we have a knife.
The-
We can cut pieces off.
That, or like configure boxes in a way that it looks like we could put the bodies behind the boxes and like at least keep them out of.
That
like,
would be easier. Yeah, you certainly could shuffle some boxes around and at least get them out of sight.
I would prefer maybe to do that real quick.
All right. Well, yeah. If you hustle over and start moving boxes, Watts, you're carrying Mrs. Hastings with you.
No, I dropped her to her knees to see what the motion was.
Okay. And Miss
I'm
Baker is carrying
looking at her.
Flinders. Poking your head out into the hall, you see a series of the crewmen and two familiar faces who are jostling with a crowd of passengers who seem to be insensate in their delirious ramblings, trying to push their way through.
I'll go in and shut the door again and say, we may have an issue out there. It looks like all the mad ones are trying to get in here.
Honestly, perhaps the best thing we can do at this point is let them in. The portal is closed. What are they going to do? We just need to get past them.
Accuse us of being the crazy fish people.
There are two doors to this room, just to point out.
Yes, one at the top here. I say, get ready up at the door at the top. I will come down at the door at the bottom down here. I will go, yoo-hoo, make them all run down here, and then I'll run back up, and perhaps you can sneak past, and we can shut them in.
Seems like a good plan.
Okay,
Perhaps we can prop up one of these fish people to get their attention.
we have this trident. We can lean it against with its head in it. Is there like, because it's a fancy ship and this is storage, right? There's fancy passengers on board. Would they have like fancy, not fancy, but I keep saying fancy. How many times can I say fancy? But like mannequins which are holding up dresses, like ladies' dresses, their ball gowns and stuff. I wonder if there's anything around here that is potentially holding up a dress that we could prop up the fishman against.
I mean, there's a lot of luggage down here. You may well be able to find something that looks like it is just like luggage that has women's clothes in it, like chests and things. Again, it would take a little bit of digging around and breaking into some boxes.
Let's just stack a bunch of boxes so it makes about 6 foot high, and then we'll lean one of the fishmen against the box.
And we check to make sure there's nothing on the fish people first, like clothes, like if they're wearing clothes, if they have pockets, if there's anything like on them.
We did not check.
Might help to do like before we leave the room, just do like a quick once over to see if they have like any pockets or anything on them, like maybe jewelry or
Look for strange markings or artifacts and that type of thing. That's probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll run over to the fish people real quick and just do like a quick once over if I can.
All right. I guess give me a spot hidden. A quick once over and they wear no clothes. You kind of poke them and prod them, and if they had any further, if they have any further items on them, you can't seem to find those items. The trident being the main thing that they were holding.
Okay.
All right, let's we'll prop up the fish person in the bottom right of the room over here.
Okay.
And we can prop one up over here as well, up in the top corner. And then you guys get ready to exit in the door at the top there.
I guess I'm grabbing. I mean, I can put one of them up. Does it even really matter like where we put the fish people? Just as long as they're in the room, it's gonna do the trick, right?
There's a lot of people out there, Benjamin. It might be best to spread them so they don't get to the one body first and say, hey, this is a decoy.
Okay.
You might want to spread them in the room. Gives us more of a chance to let them barrel in, you know.
All right. Yeah, I can help put one of them up. I'll just like grab the closest one to me and I'll just prop it up like
lean it against some luggage and stuff.
somewhere over here.
So it's peering over the luggage.
I just moved a couple of movable boxes out. If you guys want to move them around, or tell me where to move them.
That's fine. We can put one fishman just behind it, leaning against it, so it's visible when they come into the room, and one at the top here as well.
I like to imagine poor Flinders just bleeding out while you guys like
Hustling stuff around. Flinders like, oh.
I don't think
just
it matters.
here.
There's no way we can get through here.
Nora's just like wrapping more layers of cloth around his chest and like tapping her foot.
You hear a banging at the door that was previously open, Watts. Presumably you're now over here somewhere.
Yeah, sorry. I still had my thing on.
All right, so yes, you hear a banging at the door and noises of people outside.
Quickly, get to the door.
I guess we need to grab Miss Hastings real quick, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can leave it there. I can try and run past and pick her up.
I mean, I can help you. I can help you grab her.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me get her to the door first.
Yeah, I have.
And
to
then I'll
open the
just.
door.
Okay. I'll try and pick Miss Hastings up, or at least get her to where I can move her to the door towards Nora.
I'm gonna say, who's at the door?
It's hard to hear exactly what's being said through the door. There's definitely a general a hubbub of voices and pounding upon the door.
How does the door open? Like, what type of handle?
Sorry, you what?
What type of handle is the door?
It's like a spinny lock thing.
Oh, okay, like a proper ship's lock.
Yeah, pressure door.
Yeah. This is not going to go well for me, but whatever. I'm going to open it up and say this. They're in here. Get them. And they're in the corners. Open the door and see if I can dodge out the way and then sprint up to take Mrs. Hastings out.
Okay. How about you give me a... Oh man, what's a good roll for this? Yeah, I guess maybe like a fast talk. This feels like a fast talk. And probably like
luck,
a dexterity.
Can I use 2 luck?
Yeah, you could certainly use 2 luck.
All right, and dexterity, you say?
Dexterity. As the door creaks open, you only open it an inch to allow the people to have to push their way in through the heavy door, yelling out towards them and making a bolt for the other side. As the door slowly swings on its hinges, a pile of passengers fall through the open passage, tripping over themselves and the edge of the door, falling into a pile initially on the ground as they scramble over each other. You see as a woman kicks off one of the men, her high heel shoe stabbing into his chest, and he screams out, blood dripping down. They all seem beaten and bruised in their struggle to get into the room. They fixate upon the fish people on the far side and start streaming across the room towards them, seemingly ignoring you and not seeing as the group as your group exits out the other door, presumably at this moment.
Yeah, as you say, I was gonna like try and ease the door open slowly and kind of watch for them to like get to the edge of the door and then bolt.
You're able to exit out as the group of them all head into this room. And as you move into the hallway, you see that there is. Oh, where's Flinders? Flinders. You see that there are a series of crewmen who are lying unconscious on the ground, as well as one passenger who seems to be tied up in the back with uh, handcuffs behind him that is making it impossible for him to get to his feet, and he's writhing around. There's no sign of the bursar, which you wouldn't know was there in the first place, but there's no sign of the bursar.
Would we be able to lock the doors from this side of the room or not?
Sorry, what?
Can I lock the doors from this side of the room?
It's a good question. Yeah, I would think so. I would assume that these doors are lockable from either side. That, like, if anything, you I guess you may have been like holding the door against them as they were trying to undo the like latch. But then if you like force something into the position of the wheel for like for the lock of the door, then it will not be easy to open again.
All right, I will lock this door that we just exited from, and hopefully there's like a fire axe that I can grab and just wedge in.
Yeah, I would say there would be stuff like that down here. That there's,
And then, yeah, assuming there might be a fire axe on each side of this corridor, because fire safety and all. I might, I'll run down hopefully, and if they're all in the room by then, shut that door, lock them in there too. If not, we will sneak past.
1 sec. I'm doing a couple of notes because last time I did not take enough notes. All right. Yeah, I'll say you can certainly lock those doors up, and the rest of you presumably are making your way with your two wards towards the stairs down the hall. While this is happening, let us move over to Mr. Draper and Mr. Wright, who are already on their way up towards the second floor. I will put you guys on the generic, I guess, public areas page for the time being. What are you guys doing?
I think we were heading towards the captain's quarters. Would going towards the captain's quarters take us to that hallway where our rooms are, or no?
Yes, it would go past that hallway, but you wouldn't have to enter that hallway if you continued up the same staircase.
Okay. I would like to. I will. Once we get to that point, I would say, Mr. Wright, we might should hang on a second here just to see if we can hear if they're still in the hall.
That would be a good idea. We don't want anyone seeing us moving this if possible.
Yeah, I'd like to just try to listen to see if I can hear the fish people banging around in the hall.
Same.
Right. Like listen or be like stealthy.
I definitely don't want to like go into the hall itself. I just want to like listen from the
Yeah, you can certainly just
stairwell
listen.
or something. Ooh, nope. Nice.
Listening carefully down the hall, you hear noises of a room being tossed and things being thrown about. Certainly sounds of violence against furniture, at the very least.
Sounds like whatever sent you packing with this, they're still busy at the rooms.
Okay. Well then, yeah, we should probably keep going.
Guess we try to sneak past.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically you can just continue up the stairwell that you're in as that continues up to the next level. The next level is where you will find the captain's quarters. The hallway remains much like the lower levels, dimly lit by only emergency lighting. And you, if you look into the hallway, you see nobody about. It seems to be deserted.
Okay. Then I guess we'll just head to the captain's quarters.
Certainly will do so. The captain's quarters are not far from the stairwell, just a little way down the hall. You find the door closed.
I will start working on the lock that I broke.
Give me a lock picking, I guess, because it was relocked, right?
Yeah, I like tried to like jam it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. You're able to get the door back open, and it eases open, and you find the room, well, in darkness, as far as you can tell, in a similar state to what you left it in.
The lights weren't working last time, right?
The lights were no, the lights were actually in his room broken, but the lights in general in the quarters are out at the moment due to the emergency lighting, only lighting the common areas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The power's out.
So the emergency lighting, that's only in the hallways and such, right? None
Yeah.
of that in the... Okay.
Well, then I will, with Thread's help, take the crate, the object, and head into the room.
Alrighty, you're certainly able to do so. Nothing can stop you. Are you going to hide it somewhere, or just leave it in there?
Once we're in there, I'll kind of try to find a place to hide it. Maybe.
Looking
Cover it
around,
up.
obviously it's a place is in a bit of a state. You could certainly use that to your advantage in terms of piling some of the broken furniture and so on. And, it wasn't totally messed up. It was not like completely overturned. So not broken furniture, but basically the room was kind of a mess. You could certainly basically just take some. Move some furniture around quickly and maybe place like a sheet over it or something, a blanket over it, to obscure it from view.
This is our last case, right?
There's one in one of the rooms that is heavily trapped, and this one has our.
Yeah, I'd say, well, these cases have served their purpose. Perhaps it could serve as one last decoy if we move the object separate from this case.
I certainly don't want to touch it.
as an obstacle.
As you guys are discussing this, you hear a faint explosion from the deck below you.
Kind of give him a look.
That can't be good.
No lights, a riot, and now an explosion. This is...
Well, do
Not
remember,
going
you
well.
put extra explosives in your other box.
Can I put like two and two together and like how much explosives I put in there and how loud they?
I mean, I feel like, I don't know, yeah, like that could just be like a luck roll as to whether your intuition pays off or something like that.
Okay.
It's in the general direction.
Can't imagine. Maybe they've given up the subtlety and they're trying to sink the ship.
I was like, that may be our heavily trapped decoy.
Just how much explosives did you put in that thing?
A lot. I mean, I'm no explosives expert. I put as much as I would imagine would cause damage. I could go down and see what happened.
For what it's worth, I believe you did rig the explosives using essentially your munitions stores. You didn't have like a bunch of explosives separately.
Yeah, just a bunch of
and so
powder.
in relation to munitions stores, like you'd have the ability to rig up, like jury rig something that would be the equivalent of like a grenade, but not much more than that.
Yeah.
You know, like think like a pipe bomb.
Well, if the crew weren't busy before, I'm sure that got their attention.
Should probably stay here, but
I do feel bad about leaving Miss Green alone. Not sure what to do with her now.
That would, yeah. I did run into her in the dining hall, and that's not too far from where those creatures are. I mean, we did rig that explosion so we could hopefully come in from behind if you want to. I mean, it's two of us. Hopefully that took out most of them.
There's no reason to risk you in the object again. I think you had best stay here. I can get her somewhere safe and then see what's going on with the rest of the our compatriots. It did not look good when they left. I'm not sure how they're going to get out of there.
All right. Well, yeah. Just let them know where I am, and I'll relock the door behind you.
Well, it's been good getting to know you these last few days. Give him a half-joking, serious look, and head out into the hallway. I try and head to that room I left Green at a pretty good pace.
Sorry, which room?
The room I was doing the interview.
Oh, you were in you were in the
It was the dining hall, right?
the dining hall still.
Not terribly far, right?
Yeah, so you wouldn't be too far from the dining hall. Be back down and across the other level. And you're heading there on your own?
Yep.
All right.
Very conscious of the possibility of those critters being at that room.
And when he leaves, I will lock the door behind him using my tools.
I'll go ahead and have my pistol at the ready.
So you head down to the level with the first-class dining hall in it, and it's basically the opposite direction from where your rooms are located. You're able to take the other hall.
Perfect.
Give me a listen roll as you approach the dining hall. All right. You basically come out the stairwell listening, but not noticing, not hearing anything offhand, and walk out into the hall, only to see. Where are you? You open the door and look into the dining hall. It is crawling with hybrid fishmen and a full deep one in the company of Miss Cuthbert and with Miss Green and a bunch of other different passengers being held in the room.
Was not expecting that. Okay.
So I haven't noticed you yet. I'll give you a moment to decide how you react.
I imagine I'll probably do the Homer fades into bush. It's just this is thoroughly beyond my capabilities, and do my best to at least stealthily for the next floor or so make my way towards where the commotion was with the where the ritual was being done in that general direction.
A stealth roll. Good time for that.
Nice.
So you slowly step back into the stairwell. And with that, we will return to down in the cargo hold where our other investigators have just exited the cargo bay.
I'll look on the wall for a map to show where the infirmary is.
Oh, let me look at the actual map. Oh, this is probably not going to be restroom, barber shop, stewardesses. Oh, doctor's room. Okay. The doctor's room is down and past the end of the hall and then down a flight of stairs at the far end of the ship, past your rooms specifically.
Yeah, well, we don't know what's going on, so that's the way we're going to go.
That is true. You
Yep.
do not know what is going on that direction.
Hopefully Dr. Crusher's working.
Beverly Crusher.
Yes.
Unless it's season 2, in which she quit because of the misogynistic tones of Star Trek. I don't know what the deal is why she came back, but like apparently that's why she's not on like season 2. Is basically she was just like, this is fucking bullshit in terms of like how you treat women. I believe it's basically because like Roddenberry died, and so like the show kind of got overhauled by like season 3.
Fair enough.
Anyway, a little complete aside about the history of Star Trek.
I'm gonna watch season 1 again and see how misogynistic it was.
Oh, it's fucking bad. It's like it's really like we've been rewatching it recently, and like it's straight up clearly like an iteration on like the original show, but like the original show is from the 1970s. I mean, like you know, Riker's kind of a dick who's just trying to get laid all the time.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, so you know, then he grows a beard and becomes more of like you know, fun
Gentleman,
character,
as men with beards usually are.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to it.
Yes.
So, the group of you head down the hall. Are you stopping to check on any of these downed crew members?
Nora is not. Nora is just like feeling pretty guilty and wants to get Flinders some help. So she's just like barreling along.
I'll tell you where the doctor's room is according to the map. I'll catch up and I'll give a quick check to see if anybody of them is any of them
Okay.
are able to wake up now. If not, fuck it.
So Miss Baker carrying Flinders, and then presumably Mr. Brady helping Mrs. Hastings, who is somewhat on her feet, are making slow progress up the down the hall and up the stairs. Mr. Watts, I guess, give me a first aid roll to assess the people.
No,
They are
they're all
knocked
dead.
out.
They're all dead. Let's go.
No, they're clearly not dead. They appear to have simply been trampled. Whether they are in danger of dying, you don't have the skill to particularly understand. None of them are like clearly like stabbed or shot. At the very, they're not. Basically, as a layman, you think that they're basically knocked out, and whether they are in danger of dying is you can't say.
There's no major visible wounds.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, because obviously I wouldn't make you roll to be like the person's head was blown off or like they had like a big stab wound in their chest.
I'll quickly write on a note saying I locked them all in the storage room, and I'll just leave the piece of paper like on one of their.
It's like on somebody's face.
Yeah, it's on one of their faces, and then basically catch up with the rest of them.
Yeah, with them with them having people in tow, you're able to catch up in fairly short order. You start making your way. You catch them as they're just getting past the floor above and into the main floor that is where your bedrooms are. And are you guys doing anything before you enter the hall?
I'll keep poking my head around each hall just to see if I've caught up with them at that time. I'll just obviously make sure the coast is clear, or if there's any guards around that can help.
This is not. Oh, there it goes. Not looking well.
Size of that salmon.
And I'll get rid of Draper. He's not here. Put you guys onto the map.
Oh, wow, it's a big map. I had to zoom out.
Oh, Brady's gigantic.
He leveled up.
Level 50 mob boss.
Had the explosion happened at this point or no?
I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
Oh no! As we get next to the room, boom.
And where is Flinders? Flinders. Okay, so you guys find yourself at the top of the stairs. If you want to give a listen roll, you can do so.
I listen and I'll take a look down the hallway.
You hear the sounds of a room being overturned violently, furniture being pushed aside, and various things moved around. Looking down the hall, you see only mist.
And you just hear Thomas Watts unusually use the word fuck. And then head back to you and whisper, our rooms are being overturned. We have to go another way.
At that moment, you hear an explosion ring out from the room down the way, as far as you can tell. After the explosion happens, if you presumably continue listening, you do not hear any more sound.
I think they found the box.
Would we have known that Roland had rigged the device?
Yeah, that's something we talked about as a group.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys discussed it.
You hear them?
I think you're probably right. We probably do need to try and find a different way.
Do you want me to go check? I'll stealthily go over there and check.
Roll stealth.
Yeah, I'll stealthily walk up there and sneak to see if I can see into the rooms. Do you say roll stealth?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how do I fail that? That's like my guarantee success of a roll every time that one.
You
Push.
you take a
push,
step.
push.
Your shoe squeaks. You're like, what's going on? You take another step. Your shoe squeaks. You're like, squeak, squeak, squeak down the hallway.
I'll look back. My feet are sweaty.
I see. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I give you the option to not continue on, but if you want to continue on, I would assume that you do. Like you.
I'm gonna continue on because I feel
Yeah.
confident.
So
Maybe
you
not so thief.
work your way through this into this mist where you can't see anything. You hit your shin on something on the ground and cry out and make a clattering noise as you realize that somebody had left a bunch of dishes in the hall. You step on another dish and it makes a shattering noise. You eventually get to the other side and through the mist, and you can peer into what is. Oh, this one is Nora's room. This one is, yeah. That's the Nora's room. And inside you see the smoking remains of what the pipe bomb inside the box having gone off, and a series of grotesque bodies lying on the ground, riddled with shrapnel, unmoving.
Discernible of who they are, as in, would it be Roland or William?
You could certainly go in and take a closer look.
Okay, I'll go in there and I'll whisper, Roger, William.
These are clearly nobody that you know. They have grotesque downturned faces, what's left of them from the explosion. Bulbous eyes. These are some hybrid fishmen from what you had seen before.
Any shiny weapons, I'll take them, but I'll make sure that Roland and William aren't in there.
You don't see anybody else around, and if you want to check the bodies, you a cursory glance without doing a careful check with a spot hidden, you find that two of them are carrying pistols,
I take
like
the pistols.
revolvers with a few rounds in them.
Yeah, I'll take the pistols and any ammo that they have.
Yeah, they have fully loaded pistols and a handful of ammunition in their pockets. But these are like basically fairly poorly treated 22s.
All right, I'll leave that and I'll run back to the others. I'll just peek in the room opposite, just make sure our rooms are all clear, real quick.
The opening the room on the other side, you cannot open that door. Your rooms are entirely along the left, and this is actually inaccurate. The rooms on the other side are actually through a hall on the other side, and this map is of a smaller ship, and it's unfortunately kind of misleading. There should be like a like space in between in two different halls.
I'll run back and say, "Come on, it's clear." It looks like they were ransacking your room, Nora. 3 of them are dead from Roger's trap. Roland's trap. Come on, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I will follow along and keep sort of checking on Flinders as we go. Oh, and Marmalade is like licking Flinders' nose to try and wake him up, because I have not forgotten about the cat. He's being fed and well taken care of.
Oh, very good. Good on you, Marmalade.
And was not in the room with the explosion.
And Miss Hastings didn't flinch at all with the explosion, right? She's still
Groggy.
Yeah, she's basically pretty groggy, and doesn't seem to respond with much enthusiasm to what she heard. It seems like she is absolutely exhausted from from her experience, and only your continued intervention is preventing her from falling asleep.
All right, let's go stealthily. Watch out, there's some plates on the floor. Just through this mist.
I will follow.
All right, you guys can head down the hall without much of an issue, and find your way now towards the back, which just move all of you like this.
But if needed, because of the power and stuff, I'll have my flashlights out. But unless
All
there's
right,
emergency
pulling your
lights.
flashlight out, you can see better because yes, the emergency lighting obviously is very dim. The actual layout of the ship, if you look at the map that's in your handouts, you'd be going like there'd be a bunch more rooms, and then there'd be a short flight of stairs that goes down to a doctor's office that's just past the barber shop. That's like a ways down this hallway.
Yep, we'll continue down there with my 2 tridents, flashlight in hand, and the pistols put away.
Arriving at the doctor's office, you're able to open the door and you find the doctor and 2 nurses with several full beds of passengers who seem to have been injured in some way or another.
We have a critical care situation needed right here. A man has been stabbed.
The doctor looks up and says, "Stabbed? That's certainly worse than any of the bruises and burns that seem to have been inflicted in the commotion. How has he been stabbed?"
A fight broke out below decks. That's all you need to know for now. It's a pretty serious injury. I've done what I can, but he needs proper medical attention.
I assume you're aware of the crazy people trying to escape the ship? Well,
Absolutely. Have they turned violent? They've certainly been pushing them around with the crew.
They have, and there's 4 of the crew members who are maybe dead, maybe not dead. They were breathing, but I don't know if they're dead or not dead or going to die, but they're down there. They're all laying down.
Turns and says, "Nurse Wilkins, head down there and see to them. Post haste."
I locked them in the storage, all the crazy mob. Just don't open them, or when they come through, let them know.
She nods as she grabs a bag and rushes out of the room. The doctor says, "Place him here on this table in the center of the room."
And we have a VIP, Mrs. Hastings here, who seems a bit groggy too. Not sure what happened to her.
The doctor looks over and says, "It's like if she has no clear wounds, then there's no time. Set her down in the corner there. The beds are full, but maybe she can at least catch some rest in that seat before I went to wait for me to have time to look at her."
Okay, Mrs. Hastings, sit here. Do not go anywhere until the doctor clears you.
He nods groggily and slumps down into the chair, passing once again into unconsciousness once she rests herself. The nurse comes over to check Mrs. Hastings and feels her for external wounds, looking into her eyes, which causes her to briefly wake up and shake her head before once again falling asleep. The doctor pulls off Flinder's shirt and looks and says, "What manner of weapon caused this wound? This is no knife stab."
Nora will gesture to the trident that
Yes,
Watts
he
is
looks
probably
up,
still
and then the
carrying.
2 of you are carrying tridents. The doctor furrows his brow and says, "So was it you who did this to him with wherever you got that?"
Of course not.
I snatched it from the hands of the assailant.
Well, I have no time to ask you about how you somehow came by such a weapon. I certainly don't recall seeing any of those on the ship, but it's good to know what did this. This is a severe wound. Anything with a triangular hole is very difficult to treat. You can't simply sew it up. Now you'll have to leave me to treat him. It'll take some time. And you see as he is using, he calls the nurse over to better light his view, and starts to try and work on patching Flinders up.
I grab Flinders' chin, hopefully shake him a little bit to consciousness, and say, "You better survive this, Flinders. That's an order." And then leave him to it.
The doctor rolls a very successful medicine. So in the next hour, he is going to be relatively successful in treating Flinders, unless he gets interrupted.
Nice. I locked the infirmary. Just kidding. No, yeah, we need to find Roland and William.
So,
All right. Speaking of which,
did we just like yell past each other?
In the mist. The cloud
yeah,
of mist.
literally in the mist. What is the sound of two detectives passing in the mist? So yeah, I was going to say, back to Mr. Draper. Whereabouts are you going? Are you sticking around in the captain's quarters? Or are you going to go and track something else down? Or
No, I was gonna stay with the box. Actually, I had an idea. I was going to, so I locked the door when Wright left, and then I was gonna start like barricading the door a little bit. And then I was thinking of maybe moving the box into the bathroom, if the bathroom seemed like a better spot, or if.
yeah, I mean the bathroom can still be closed off, especially with like the larger quarters that the captain has.
Yeah, I'll do that, and also try to like. That wouldn't really have a lock, would it? The bathroom
The
door.
bathroom door would not have a lock, no.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll move it into like the into the bathroom. Try to cover it up with. We probably left some dirty towels in here.
Oh yeah, covered in that weird goop. Are you careful about not touching it?
Yeah, I'll definitely not touch the goop.
Just like, oh no, what have I done?
And then I'll close the bathroom door, and then I guess kind of just once I get the door to the hallway barricaded, where I think it's good enough, or as good as I can get it with what's in here, I'll just kind of start pacing, waiting for a knock on the door or
It'll take a little
something.
bit of time to move some furniture around, obviously, but you can certainly do so. And you successfully barricade the door, only to discover the door opens outwards. No, I'm just joking. The door is definitely open inwards. So with that, we will switch back over to Mr. Wright.
How does the aftermath look?
So did you head back down to the rooms, you mean, or the aftermath, like in general, and like the where you're at, or?
No, I was after seeing I couldn't help Green. I was gonna try and meet up with the rest of my compatriots at the last place I knew they were at, that cargo bay.
Yep. So heading down to the cargo bay. Oops, I went the wrong place. Hold. Box is gone, and I will put you onto here. Mr. Wright. Arriving down here, you find that the doors to the cargo bay have been blocked off. But first, you see that there is a mess of unconscious crewmen and the one person that you had tied up on the ground.
No sign of but I can't see per se. Like I'm on like a gray layer. I have been all night for some reason.
Oh, you're on a gray layer? Like you can't see the actual
It's like all grayed out.
That's weird.
Don't forget there's a note on one of their faces.
Maybe my my dark theme's malfunctioning.
I'm gonna paste in a screenshot.
I fixed it. It was my dark theme. Well, that's a
Oh,
bummer.
dark mode.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want this dark as well, too, right?
Literally everything. That explains some bugs I was getting last night.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. Custom CSS screws everything up. So yeah, you're down here, and there are a series of crewmen who are unconscious and battered upon the floor. But if you look closer, like Mr. Watson found out, they don't appear to be mortally injured.
One of them has a note on them, remember, that I left.
Mm-hmm.
Oreos?
Yeah.
There's a quickly scrawled note saying to not open the cargo hold, that that it was filled with insensate, insane passengers.
No sign of our two baddies.
No, they are missing quite conspicuously. Which, yeah, you would know that they were there, but they are now not.
Do any of these crewmen look like badly hurt?
You can give a first aid roll. With a successful roll, you are carefully checking each of these crew members. You find that most of them appear to be, unconscious from what seems to be just basically a physical beating. But you would be concerned that one of them seems to have a broken leg from whatever happened to him during this. While you're checking them, a nurse descends from the stairs and says, "Oh my, what's going on here?"
There was quite the brawl here. A bunch of passengers, they had gone mad. This man has a broken leg.
"Oh, leave it to me. I'll put a temporary splint on and make sure that he's set flat. Not much I can do to move him, but it's probably best we don't move them for the time being. The others, well, maybe I can bring them too with some smelling salts. I have a bag here."
I help administer those. The more manpower, the better.
With the smelling salts, two of the four crewmen come back to their to consciousness. One of them asking and saying, "The stampede. We couldn't stop them. Where have they gone?"
They were trying to get into the cargo bay there. Did you see anyone come out of it?
"No, not that. Well, there was one fellow. He came from behind us and knocked us over as we were trying to hold the mob back. That was what broke the hold. And then suddenly they were all over us, fists flying, feet stamping. Me and my companions here were forced to the ground. And that's the last thing I remember."
Did I come across a note while I was giving everybody a first aid?
Yeah, you would have come across the note that Watson left.
What did it say?
I don't know, Watson, what did it say specifically?
It said, "We managed to trap the angry mob in the cargo hold. Do not open it." And it was have a little TW in the bottom right corner, whether or not you see it or not.
All right. I will go to the cargo door and listen.
You see that as an axe that is wedged.
Give me a
into
listen
the
roll.
wall. All humming and
See what
chanting.
I can hear on the other side.
You hear various noises that are hard to discern, thumpings and scratches and scrapes. What exactly is going on in there, you can't say, but there certainly is movement in the hold.
It seems like somebody's managed to trap them in the hold here. I'd recommend barricading it or something until orders restored to the ship.
The crewman nods and says, "First, I'm sure we must be working on restoring power to the engines. Without the engines, we're adrift in what is a terrible storm." At which point, as he mentions that, you can take notice of the consistent rolling, something that it seems you've started to get used to over the last few days. But it certainly seems to be getting more serious as the ship is not under control.
That is concerning. Is there anything nearby I can barricade this door with?
Having looked at them, it looks like Watts had jammed the mechanism that is like a pretty secure lock on what is a pressure door. And essentially, if that wheel can't turn, then that door can't be opened.
Oh, so it is barricaded.
So it is pretty much barricaded. Yeah, like it would take a pretty serious amount of force to be able to turn that wheel.
Or someone undoing it on purpose.
Da, da, da.
This seems to be a better hold for those passengers who've lost their minds than where you had them before. If somebody could, whoever was guarding them there could make sure they don't get out here, it'd be one less fire to put out.
You can get word to the captain. I'm sure he can see to that somebody is assigned down here. I don't think myself or any of my companions here are going to be moving anytime soon. But once I'm able to, I'll also make my way up and see what help I can be.
Very well. I'll let them know. Was there anything else you noticed before this crowd descended here? What were those two men that were helping you keep the tide back doing?
Well, they alerted us to the danger in the first place, that the crowd had broken free, led us down here. I don't know how they knew this would be where they would be headed for, but they seemed quite correct. And that they had some kind of reason to get to the cargo bay. Looking back, I suppose why not let them go in there and seal them away? It would have been a much simpler solution.
It is pretty suspicious they knew where the crowd would go, don't you think? Best mention it to your quartermaster.
It certainly is curious. Can't say what to make of it.
And you said you were accosted from behind when the crowd broke.
Yes, we were able to hold them back with the assistance of those two fellows, and then suddenly another man opened the door back there to the hold and ran screaming into our rear, knocking me, myself, and my companions here to and fro. With that, the crowd found purchase and pushed us to the ground.
Sounds an awful lot like an ambush to me.
I certainly don't know what to make of that either. This is a strange situation, unlike anything I've ever experienced in all my times at sea.
Well, I best be getting to the captain. Carry on.
He slumps back down against the wall, nursing his bruises.
I head towards the captain's quarters.
Alrighty, heading back up the stairs. We are an hour and a half in. Let's take a short pee break. This is probably a good place to do it before we switch scenes back.